Hello Uganda, Dr. Abed Bwanika is my name. The greatest asset for any nation is her people. And the development of any nation will depend on how the human resource is developed and how it is deployed. That's why I'm putting a lot of emphasis on turning Uganda as a center of excellence in education. I plan to put 20% of the national budget into the education sector for the next 5 years so that we can turn around this sector to become a critical part of the economy. We want to ensure that every child goes to school. Education is going to be free from primary 1 to senior 6. Education is also going to be compulsory. It's not going to be only free, but compulsory. Every child, 6 years to 18 years, you must be at school. Government will secure your education. We want to produce the next generation of Uganda as an educated generation. We want to give a school uniform, shoes, lunch, and a computer from primary 4 onwards per child to ensure that our children access quality education. We are going to construct a government secondary school per sub-county in all the sub-counties of Uganda. And these are going to be grade A schools. We want to grade the schools in Uganda into 3 grades, grade A, grade B, grade C, depending on the infrastructure and the staffing, so that it will guide us if there is any affirmative action that is required, but it will also guide government on how to improve the standards of schools. We want to strengthen the inspectorate department so that these schools are inspected in order to ensure that we keep standards and produce a child that is trained to help this nation move forward. The biggest constraint in Uganda's education is one, access to quality education, and also the performance of our students and the performance of these schools. Therefore, in our agenda, we plan to address the question of access to quality education for every child in this nation. That's why we are proposing that we construct a government secondary school per sub-county so that we can improve the access to quality education in this country. We want to build grade A schools in every sub-county. We want to grade these schools depending on the level of the infrastructure, depending on the staffing. And this will guide us as a nation on the affirmative action when it is required for these students. It will also guide government on how to invest in school improvement in this nation. We will not allow a child to start school unless you are 6 years. Currently, people start school when they are 3 years, 4 years. This is quite another age for a child to go to school. We want to give them time to develop. We also want to give them time with their families. We are going to reduce the school calendar from 253 days to 200 days. The best education in the whole world is in Finland. They go to school 190 days a year. We want to reduce ours to 200 days. We want to create time for other centers of learning. It is not only school that is a center of learning. There are other centers of learning at the family level, at community level. We also want to introduce cinemas, specific cinemas, to ensure that our kids, as they grow, they watch these cinemas with a purpose. An example, a child in America is encouraged to watch a cinema called Superman. This is a fiction that is designed to enlarge the brain of a child. In the East, China, Japan, Korea, they watch the Ninja Man. These are designed films to enlarge the brain of a child. We will target some films to ensure that we develop and enlarge the brain of our children in this country. We also want to allow them to go into the internet, into the social media. We will have them controlled so that we ensure that these centers of learning also contribute to the child's growth. We want to produce a wholesome child. We are going to reduce the time a child spends at school, a school day. P1 up to P3, a child will be going back home at 1. P4, P5 at 2. P6, P7 at 3. We want them to go home and create time for other centers of learning. We will not encourage any child to go to school on Saturday. We want them to rest so that they can be fresh for the following week. At the university and also in the secondary school, we want to revise the curriculum, we want to revise the syllabus. We are going to emphasize skills and innovation, not just degrees and diplomas. That's why in our agenda we want to build a technical school and a vocational school per sub-county, so that we will offer these kids skills while they are studying. We are going to do a needs assessment for the country to see which disciplines and which courses do we need for our economy. And also want to understand what disciplines and courses that are needed in the markets around us, especially in the Eastern market, in East African market, so that we can train people for the market, not just to train. We want to put 20% of the national budget into education. This will help us also to put more money into research at the university level. We are going to revise the salaries of teachers, lecturers, together with all the salaries of other civil servants in this country. We also intend to supplement the private schools, because educating a child of Uganda is a mandate of the government of Uganda. We want to supplement the private schools and also the missionary schools, because for them to train a child of Uganda is a mandate for the government of Uganda. So we want to work with them and ensure that they are educated and also they are helped to educate the child of Uganda. Two things for free. We want to expand the national library system in this country, so that at every sub-county there is a branch of the national library. This is so critical so that we increase the access to information, to knowledge, even to those students who are in the rural areas. We also want to emphasize the teaching and promotion of use of the indigenous language. In addition to English, which is going to remain the official language of this country, for purposes of communication within Uganda and also outside Uganda, we want to encourage the use and the teaching of our indigenous languages, so that they are taught in the primary schools and they can also be used at local government level. This is so critical for purposes of encouraging innovation and thinking. A language, a local language, an indigenous language is a tool for someone to be a thinker, for someone to be an innovator. I heard recently, I read in one of the newspapers in Uganda where they misquoted me that Dr. Abed Bwanika wants to ban the use and the teaching of the English language in schools. That is not true. What I've been saying and what I will maintain talking about, because it is in my manifesto, that in addition to the English language, which we need for purposes of communicating within the country and outside the country, we should encourage the use and the teaching of our indigenous languages. It is also not true that English is a language of development globally. That is not true. We should cherish our own languages, we should communicate in them, we should also think and innovate in them. That is critical for us to produce a thinker. And that's why I'm encouraging the local languages. We are also going to introduce a national service for every student between grades, from primary 7 going to senior 1. We would want you to get yourself involved in a national service in the community, so that we will train you to cherish this nation and know the values of this nation. From senior 4 to senior 5, we would want you to be involved in a national service. And those who are going to colleges and universities, this is important for us to produce people who are nationalists. Some other people want to call them patriots. But this is very important to teach the value, the shared value system of this nation to our next generation. And a national service will be purposed to address that area. We want to ensure that those who teach our students, they are the best. We are going to put provision for them to upgrade. We will give bursaries by government so that our teachers can upgrade to a degree level, to a master's level, so that they can offer the best education to our students. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an opportunity to turn around our economy. And the education sector is going to be very critical for us to drive our economy in the desired future. I hope the information I've given you will help you to make the best decision for who must be the next president of Uganda. And I hope this information is going to drive you to a conclusion that Dr. Abed Bwanika is the best option as the President of Uganda 2016. I appreciate your time. God bless.